Welcome NASCAR fans to Tim Reynolds Show's NASCAR Race Review as I'm reviewing the 2024 NASCAR Cup Series Playoffs Round of 8. And we see the first race in the playoff semis would be at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, where this racetrack races like a super speedway, just as you would see at Daytona or Talladega. But we would see these NASCAR Cup Series drivers really put on a show in this one with the number 20 Toyota driven by Christopher Bell starting out on the pole in this one after he had the fastest time in qualifying. And he would also lead a race high 155 laps in this race at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, but it wouldn't be long as we would see a caution, a big wreck that would be involving a bunch of NASCAR Cup Series playoff drivers in the round of 8, including the number 45 Toyota driven by Tyler Reddick, the regular season champion for 2311 Racing, gets involved in this wreck and actually ends up flipping over and ending his day early there at Las Vegas Motor Speedway after this tough wreck and this big caution that also got involved the number 9 Chevy driven for Hendrick Motorsports by Chase Elliott, as Elliott could not avoid this wreck as he also ends up spinning and ending his day early and not helping his finish here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. But also in the back of this wreck, we would see the number 12 Ford driven by Ryan Blaney, the defending series champion, try to avoid this caution and this wreck, but he would end up running into the wall, damaging his vehicle and hampering his day, really ending up a bad finish for the number 12 Ford Penske Racing team. Guys, tough break here in this caution that involved so many playoff cup drivers, but we'd also see chaos inside the pits as the number 5 Chevy for Hendrick Motorsports driven by Kyle Larson would have tough days inside the pits all day long as his team could not get it together with too many mistakes that actually really hampered him in this race. And speaking of mistakes in the pit stops, the number 11 Toyota team driven by Denny Hamlin for Joe Gibbs Racing would struggle all day long inside the pits, which really hurt his finish in this race at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Man, what a tough break for these playoff drivers in the round of 8 for the 2024 NASCAR Cup Series playoffs as they're trying to contend for a championship, and you can't do that with all the mistakes that they're making. But we would see fuel strategy come into play as Christopher Bell would get tires with less than 40 laps to go, and he would hope that those new tires would help him get him back to the front. But the number 22 Ford Penske Racing team, as that driver Joey Logano would have other plans as his team were able to pull off the fuel strategy, and the number 22 Ford driven by Joey Logano gets the victory in this one after Joey and his team were actually bounced out of the playoffs last week before the number 48 Chevy driven by Alex Bowen and his Hendrick Motorsports Racing team were disqualified because they were too light at the end of last week's race. Now Joey Logano and this number 22 Ford Penske Racing team bounce back and get a huge victory here at Las Vegas as Joey Logano punches his ticket inside the championship 4 in the 2024 NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. Wow, what an amazing comeback. What an amazing finish there as Joey Logano and his team were able to play the fuel strategy just right. And even though the number 20 Toyota driven by Christopher Bell, that Joe Gibbs Racing team was able to push and push right close near the end of the race, and if they would have had a couple more laps, they might have been able to catch Joey Logano and the number 22 Ford, but it would not come to fruition as Christopher Bell would be so upset in his post-race interview because they knew they had the best race car on the track today, but they weren't able to pull off the right strategy like the number 22 Penske Racing team was to get the victory in this one. A very frustrating day for Christopher Bell, but Joey Logano and his Penske Racing team punched their ticket into the championship 4, but man, talk about some crazy finishes in this one for a lot of other playoff drivers as we see Kyle Larson struggle in this one. Christopher Bell obviously has the tough break, but he still finishes second in this one and has a pretty dang good points day. We also see Tyler Reddick ends his day early, another rough points day. William Byron actually ended up finishing inside the top 5 in this one, and very impressive finish for him and his number 24 Chevy Hendrick Motorsports team, especially after they had to make so many adjustments on their car throughout this race at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We also see Ryan Blaney, the number 12 Ford, the teammate of Joey Logano, really struggled in this one, but he would help him at the end of this race to push him during his fuel saving strategy. When you get a teammate like that that's able to help you out, that's really awesome. But the defending Cup Series champion will have to really make up ground in the next couple of races if he wants a chance to defend his championship inside the championship 4. And guys, we'd also see Denny Hamlin, the number 11 Toyota, struggle with him and his team having so much trouble inside the pits, and Danny Blaney not really being able to make any headway on the track there at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We also see Chase Elliott, who was involved in that caution with the number 45 Tyler Reddick, had a tough day as well because of that caution, wrecking his car and trying to get up to the front, especially after starting in the back at the beginning of this race. And also Joey Logano is the first driver here in the round of 8 to punch his ticket, as he will race for a championship this year in the 2024 NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. And this has been your NASCAR race review from Tim Reynolds Show. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. And before we get going, guys, we're going to go over the NASCAR Cup Series playoff standings as we sit right now after this race. We see Joey Logano obviously is at top as he punches his ticket into the championship four. Christopher Bell is going to be second at plus 42. We see Kyle Larson is third at plus 35. William Byron is at fourth at plus 27. And just below the cut line now for the championship four, Denny Hamlin sits there as the first person below the cut line at negative 27. Tyler Reddick is right below him, the regular season champion, at minus 30. Whilst you see Ryan Blaney, the defending Cup Series champion, is now just one below the bottom of the round of 8 playoff drivers here at negative 47 points. And last is Chase Elliott, my favorite driver in the number 9 Chevy for Hendrick Motorsports after a tough day here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Guys, this was an epic race. I cannot believe Joey Logano and his team were able to come back and get the win in this one. And guys, to round up the top 5, like we mentioned before, in second place is Christopher Bell, the number 20 Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing, and Daniel Suarez, the number 99 Chevy for Trackhouse Racing, gets a top 5 victory in this one, as he was already knocked out of the playoffs after the round of 12. And also William Byron, the number 24 Chevy, there finishes fourth in this one, a top 5 finish, and a nice bounce back for Alex Bowman and his number 48 Chevy Hendrick Motorsports team after they were disqualified last week. They finished this week at Las Vegas with a top 5 victory. And guys, make sure you like and subscribe to Tim Reynolds Show for more NASCAR race reviews, especially during the 2024 NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. And man, we're down one race here in the playoff semis in the playoff round of 8, and now we'll have to see who's able to punch their ticket into the round of 4 with only 2 races remaining in the round of 8 and only 3 races remaining until we find out who will be the 2024 NASCAR Cup Series champion. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you like and subscribe to Tim Reynolds Show to find out more NASCAR race reviews and more sports entertainment that you can only get right here on Tim Reynolds Show. Peace out, everybody.